Hello everyone and welcome to episode 17 of the SAP TechBytes series on RESTful Application Programming Model. In episode 14, we had seen wrap side effects and how it keeps your Fiori UI synchronized with business logic during data changes. We had also touched upon event-driven side effects, which is an enhancement to wrap side effects that allows the UI to refresh fields or sections when a business event occurs instead of field changes. Today, we are going to focus on wrap side effects for events together with Background Processing Framework or BGPF. Event-driven side effects are particularly helpful in examples where workflow approvals or asynchronous wrap actions that take longer time should continue without blocking the user. For example, inventory calculations, data imports, or complex validations that take several seconds or even minutes to complete. When a user triggers a long-running operation, there are usually two options. One is to make the user wait until the process completes, but this creates a poor user experience. Second option is to start the process in the background, but then the user has to manually refresh the application to see the updated data. Since both options are not ideal, the best way could be to start the process asynchronously and automatically refresh the application when the background work finishes. Now, to achieve this, wrap first schedules the work in the background so that the user gets control of the UI immediately while actual processing still continues. And next, when the background process completes, wrap raises an event and uses event-driven side effects to notify the Fiori Elements application that data has changed. With this, the UI is automatically refreshed without the user pressing refresh manually. Event-driven side effects can be triggered in two ways. One is with background processing framework and second is without background processing framework. Without background processing framework, the source could be something like a workflow or an external system or even a scheduled job. With background processing framework, the wrap application itself initiates the asynchronous work using BGPF, and once it is complete, the UI will be notified to refresh. Using BGPF is optional and completely depends on your use case. The background processing framework is available in SAP S/4HANA 2023 Private Cloud and SAP BTP ABAP environment. Now let us see a demo where we are trying to initiate a travel booking which will set a particular status for the selected record, and this triggers the logic workflow. The workflow will either set the status travel status to booked B or cancelled X depending on the total price. Since this is a time-consuming process, we will try to execute this process using background processing framework. So let's get into the system. So this is my travel application, and here you can see that there are several records. Each record will have a total price, a travel status, and a notification field. So the demo is like this. If we select one record which is in the status, travel status new or N, and click on the book travel button, the status should get changed from N to P for planned, and the notification text should say that the travel is set for review. Okay, and now what should happen is that this total price should be checked, and if the total price is less than 3000, then the status should change from P to B for booked, and the notification text should update as the timestamp and the review workflow successfully processed text. Again, if the total price is greater than 3000, the booking should not go through and the status should get updated from P to X for cancelled, and the notification text should get updated as the timestamp and review workflow cancellation. So, since this process of checking the total price and changing the status is a little bit time consuming, we can create a background process to execute this logic. Now, when the background process is complete and it has the updated status and the notification text, we can raise an event that the status is updated. Then that status will be triggering the side effects which will let the UI know that there is a field update, and the UI refreshes automatically and updates the new values. So this is how the demo will look like. So let us see the demo. I'm selecting this record and clicking on book travel. So you can see the status got updated to P and travel set to planned and sent to review is the new notification text. Now we'll wait. You also get to see that there is a message new data is available, and now the travel status is showing as B, and you also have the timestamp and the review workflow successfully processed as the notification text. So this is how we were able to trigger a background process to execute the logic for changing the status and the notification text after the change. Now let us see how this is implemented. For that, let us go to ADT. In the behavior definition, we have to specify the event status updated for side effects. And inside side effects, we have to also specify the method again and also mention the fields that gets affected from side effects, status, review status, and notification are those fields. We also have two buttons, book travel and cancel travel. So we have to specify the action for those buttons. In addition to that, we also have to specify with additional save so that this event gets called during the save sequence. By adding this with additional save method, a save modified will be created in the local saver class, and there we can write the logic to call the background process and update the status accordingly. Now we also have to go to the behavior projection and specify that we are using side effects and also mention the status updated events, use event status updated so that the event gets called. Now let's go back to the behavior definition and let's go to the book travel method. So inside the book travel method, we can see that the status and review status fields are set to planned, and the notification is set to travel set to planned and sent to review. So after this change, the updated values are set are used to set the action result parameter, and this update will trigger the save sequence. Now let's see what happens inside the save modified method. Inside the save modified method, we are checking if the travel status is planned. So if the travel status is planned, we are calling the background process. So let's navigate to the background process. So here we are creating the background process. We are naming it as long running process. And this is the background process that will get created. We are passing the RAPBO entity. And here in the implementation, you can see that we are capturing the UUID and travel ID of the record that we have selected. And we are calling the review travel BO method, which will have the logic to check the total price and update the travel status accordingly. So here you can see that we are reading the values and also introducing a wait up to 8 seconds so that we get to see a slight delay in between the status changes so that we can understand it is due to the background process. It is the status change happens, and that's when we'll get to see the status change in the UI. Now, the next thing is we are checking the total price, whether it is greater than less than 3,000. Then the status and review status field gets updated to booked, and the notification text gets updated with the system time and review workflow successfully processed. If it is greater than 3,000, the review status and status fields gets updated to cancelled, and the notification text will have the timestamp and the review workflow cancellation text. So once once these fields are updated, the updated values will be used to commit to the database, and we'll go back to the save modified method. So after the background process is complete, we are raising an event saying status updated. So the status updated method will get, or status updated event will get triggered, and this in turn triggers the side effect, and the updated value for status, review status and notification field gets passed on to the UI, and the UI gets notified that there is a change in these field values, and it refreshes the contents automatically. So this is a simple example of how you can use background processing framework along with side effects to execute some long running processes in your application without interrupting the user. Please do try it out and let us know your feedback and comments. We'll be back very soon with another episode of SAP Tech Bytes. Till then, take care.